Okay, we have 2 signs left. And then we go right back up. Start all over again. So this is between Aries and Cancer. Our next reading is going to be Aries. Okay, so we'll do Aries next and then Cancer. Okay, Aries, this is your reading for this week. Remember, whenever you're meant to watch these readings is when you're drawn to them. Our energy draws us to the things that we need in our life. So please trust in the universe, in the process, in yourself. Okay? Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to help support my channel, guys. Alright, so can't do this without myself or by myself. Okay, so we have the High Priestess. She's Major Arcana. She's number 2 in the Major Arcana. So this could be about balance or partnerships. Also somebody who's very intuitive. She is the gatekeeper of our spirit world, if you will. Okay, so she's very, very spiritual, psychic. Be psychic, in touch with something. It's also about like having the veil revealed, or something being revealed from the veil being lifted. I mean, sorry about that. Oh, the Knight of Cups. One more spirit. Oh yeah, no, 2 more. Everybody gets this card in every reading, I swear. That's what this whole week's reading has been about, is the Scorpio, the Death card in reverse. Because I think we all went through a change. Maybe not want a change, or an ending that we didn't want. Okay, we have a Tower happened. Okay, so that's a forceful change, right? So we have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is number 2 in the Major Arcana. She is, like I said, the leader of our spiritual world. Only the gifted can come in. There's a veil revealed here, so something may have been revealed to you. Maybe something that you didn't know. Take it as resonates. But this is the moon. The moon, something in the dark came to light, right? So she peeks behind the veil. She sits between these 2 pillars. This is Solomon's temple. So Boaz, which means like dark or black or white, see what I'm saying, or night and day, like that. But this is about like negotiation, okay? That's like holding your ground and saying no, okay? Then the other one is Jashin, and so that's like white, and it's an affirmation. So like, yes, I will. So it also could be like a reconciliation of opposites, but it's ruled by the moon, okay? So she is at peace. She's very psychic. Your own channels could be opening up right now. You're very intuitive and very wise, like I said. So you might be seeing things different, like not seeing things a different way, but start seeing things that you may have not been seeing before. Okay, and then we have the 6 of Wands. So Wands are fire signs, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So this is your element, your energy. The 6s on the tree life are very beautiful. To the center of the tree, what's in our center? Our spirit and our souls. So that's why it's very beautiful. So Wands are like movement, passion, our drive, right? So this is Jupiter and Leo. Jupiter is very expansive. Leo is very prideful. So this is the Lord of Victory. So you won in there's a victory somewhere here. So something wonderful has been attained or will be attained. There will be success on a very high level. Greatness of the heart and pinnacle of success. Okay, so there's some kind of victory here after something was revealed. So then we have the World. The World is a completion. It's a final, this may be like a lesson complete, but something was completed here, okay? You can see the wreath. It's in a circle that shows the form of completion. Not only that, you can see she's looking to her past, but she's stepping to her future. So what's that saying is that even though things have happened in our past, we're never going to forget about it, but we have to keep moving forward. That's what that means. You can look to your past, but you have to keep moving forward because the world is constantly going. So there's a completion, a finale, remembering the past, crowned with success. So living in the here and the now, completion of a lesson, a test, or a cycle. So you did it, right? She's holding these 2 wands of the magicians, and that's having all that you need. And she's stepping towards her future, even though she's still reminiscing about her past, which is okay. We just can't stay in the past. We can't stay there because, like I said, the world is constantly moving. We have to go with it. Okay, then we have the Knight of Cups. So Cups represents our feelings, emotions, and relationships. All Knights are movement. So this is telling me in reverse that, or in the lower polarity, that something is not moving. Okay, something stopped. Maybe this is seeking to fill yourself up with anything that they can, whether it's over sensual or maybe even using substances. But basically, like, this is the Knight of Cups is fire and water. Okay, so this is like there's a conflict. Okay, so there's some kind of conflict, and within that conflict, we feel like we're missing something, and then so we will overindulge and try to fill that cup up with anything, and everything. But that's not health. That's not always healthy for us, right? So then here's the Death card in reverse. The Death card is Scorpio energy. Now this doesn't mean an actual, well, it could when it's in reverse on the lower polarity. So Death is number 13, and that 3 plus 1 is 4. So you could be going through the Emperor energy, which is Aries. That's your card, so I wouldn't even doubt that you're going through your own lesson right now, I guess, or there's a lesson that you needed to learn very significantly because it is that's your card, the Emperor. So the Death card is Scorpio energy. So on the lower or the lower polarity, it could actually mean that there was a death, an involuntary change that you didn't want or ask for. That's very difficult, or some kind of fear. So death poisons us, okay? And when we constantly think about death, it'll actually poison us because it's actually worse than the death itself, okay? So what it does is it stunts life, okay? To fear of an ending or afraid to live, okay? It also means that maybe you didn't want to let go of the past or an ending, or maybe there was fear of letting it go, but that we're kind of forced. Like I said, the world is constantly moving. We have to accept things that have happened, whether they're good or bad, and I think that's one of the hardest things in our whole life is the acceptance of it, because it's not something that we choose. It's something that we have to do. It's not something that, like we would want to do, but we have to do, if you will. Do you see what I'm saying? So just like the need and a want, wanting something is different than needing it, and accepting it is something that, we don't want to do, but we have to do, okay? So if that makes sense, guys. So then we have the Six of Pentacles. So Pentacles represents our earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn energy. A lot of beautiful energy here, guys, even within the change that you had, the involuntary change you had to go through. So this is very beautiful. It's on the middle, like I said. We already went through this. But this is something in our physical world. Okay, so not so much, this is more of a drive, a passion, or like a victory within yourself, right? This is more of a physical sense of the 3D world. So this is the moon in Taurus. So Lord of material success. So this is like sharing, okay? Spirit is sending you a gift, okay? It might be also using you as a channel to give, or a gift, but there's certainly abundance here. So you are gaining something from this loss, okay? And it's from Spirit. So they gave you whatever you feel like you lost. They're giving you something. It may not replace what you've lost, but it's still, they're still sending you a gift, I guess you could say. So what I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying that they're trying to replace what it is that you lost, but it is a gift in a sense of that it'll help you. Maybe start moving on, looking to your past and remembering, but always moving towards your future, because within death or a loss or a change, there's always a new beginning. There's always a restart. So every door that closes, one opens. So not all is lost here, is what I'm trying to say, okay? And even though it may not replace what it is that you lost, it's still going to be very beautiful because it's a 6. Okay, so let's just clarify what Spirit wants you guys to know. Okay, cool. What is it that you'd like Aries to know right now? Yeah, so you see both of the horses are in reverse because something stopped moving forward. Okay, something changed. There's no more forward movement in something. And a lot of times that happens involuntary. We don't have, we don't, sometimes it's not our choice, it's not our choice, but we still have to keep moving forward, even though that stopped, you know what I mean? Or it changed. So we have the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, the Four of Wands in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles. We'll get one more. This is just clarification, I guess, of what we just talked about. This is more like advice from Spirit, I guess you could say. The first part is like what actually happened. And now this is more like advice. I think Spirit is okay, so here we go, guys. All right, so the Two of Pentacles. Pentacles represent anything in our physical material world. Two is our partnership balance. So just like the High Priestess, that's 2. So it could be something like a connection or a partnership, if you will. Right there you can see like they're juggling it, right? So they're trying to incorporate like the good, the bad, the hot, the cold, just like her. She sits in between these two poles, right? And it's just like that. What we have to do is try to learn how to balance this in our life. And it does make us unstable, okay? Because it's hard to balance things in our life. You know, we have to make, don't be too much. Be, or like, you know, love, but don't love too much. Hate, but don't hate too much. You know, put salt in it, but don't put too much salt. You know, too much water is bad for you, but you need to be clean. You know, like balancing that out is really tough as humans, okay? And it makes us unstable. There's an 8 in there, so that also could, that's an infinity sign, but to me it's like an 8. So the infinity, yes, it's forever moving forward, okay? We have to find that balance. That's the juggling aspect of it. But the 8 to me is like seeking a solution, okay? So no matter how much we're juggling and how much we feel unstable, we will, you know, we will find solutions. We will figure this out, okay? As long as we keep moving forward. I'm moving these over a little bit so you can see a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so then we have the Queen of Cups. Cups represents our feelings, emotions, and relationships, so queens are very specifically good at something. So the queen, she is part of Bana. Bana is the Great Mother, okay? So with the Great Mother, there becomes understanding. And what that means is that every mother understands sorrow and grief because mothers know that when they're giving life, it's also giving death. So that is the great understanding of Bana, or the Great Mother, is knowing that sorrow is always going to come with, sorrow will always come with, you know, whatever's good, there's going to be, I'm not saying there's going to be a bad, but in the universe, that's how everything balances itself out. So meaning that when we obtain things, we could lose them, okay? When we love, we can end up being in pain. When we are given things, we know that they can be taken away. So that's the understanding of the Great Mother, is that she knows that when she's giving life, she's also giving death, okay? But that's what's needed in the universe for it to keep going, right? So the Queen of Cups, she's specifically good at something. So this is Cancer energy. The waters are emotion. So this is like emotional composure. So she's the best telepathic sender and receiver. She's psychic. She's imaginative. And it's absolutely beautiful. So she sits there and she looks at this cup, right? And she sits at the water's edge because she's in touch with her emotions. But it's a very magical place. And everybody sits there and wonders while they look at her, like, what is she looking at? She's looking at her cup because there's no other cup in this whole entire world. I feel like I'm gonna cry, you guys. There's no other cup in this world that has her cup. There's no other cup that's like her cup. And she absolutely loves and adores her cup. And nothing ever will replace that cup, ever. And she know then it's the most beautiful thing ever. So she's looking at it very adoringly, right? So, and it reflects back at her. So I'm not sure if this is an actual physical loss, but that's what I'm feeling. And there might be a new birth in the family, and that that's what helps balance out the universe, and you know, like where, you know, like where we are in our place, I guess you could say. And even though what she's doing is like nothing will ever replace this cup, and she knows that because it's absolutely beautiful. And you don't ever have to think that anything is trying to replace that, because that cup is always going to be there. And maybe that person is reflecting back the same thing to you, because she's sitting at the water's edge and the water is reflective. Okay, so how you're feeling, the emotion that you're feeling, they're, you know, they either letting you know that they're there with you and they can see you, or reflecting like they can see you, or they're reflecting like how you feel is the same way that they feel, and that they know that you absolutely know, like, adore that cup, and that nothing will ever replace them as that cup. You know what I'm saying? So just let you know that. And look at, there's a baby right there. So yeah. Okay, so now we have the Four of Wands in reverse. So I wouldn't doubt that this is somebody that was lost, because this is like a family celebration in a family, but it's in reverse. So it could have been a loss in a family. And if that's what it is, I'm so sorry. But if it's not Aries, and then it's just saying that something you might have physically lost in our 3D world. It could have been a job. It could have been, you know, like a house, a car, whatever it is. Or it could have been an actual death. So just take it as it resonates. Not every Aries could be going through exactly the same thing. However, I kind of do feel like it is a death because of the spiritual sense in this, okay? And also, if this is for masculines or males, there is no gender in the spirit world. So just because this is a queen doesn't mean that this is not your energy of you looking at that cup, because it's the what's going on in the card. It's not the actual gender. Okay, so this isn't a female. This is we all have masculine and feminine aspects to us. Okay, so this would be you on your more emotional side, being able to connect in this manner. Okay, in this way. So the fours are mercy, it's Jupiter. So number four is, it like gives without the regard of the merit of deservingness. Okay, so what I mean by that is, in our human desire, in our human nature, we feel like we deserve things. Okay, well, the universe reminds us in very harsh, hard ways that nothing is really ours and that we can lose it, you know, just as fast as we obtained it. So this is Venus in Aries. This is your element. So I'm sorry, guys, if I side like that. I feel a lot of grief and sorrow. But this is the Lord of perfected work. Okay, so when it's on its lower polarity, it's like a hurdle or filled with obstacles. This is like a card of delays, or things don't go very well. Maybe self-centeredness or using your ego, maybe being too self-centered. But this is actually, you know, like a happy celebration in a happy family. So in reverse, something has happened where it's just the complete opposite. Okay, so now we have the Eight of Pentacles. Pentacles represents our 3D world. Eights are seeking solutions. This is like a repetitive cycle or learning mastery, if you will. Okay, this is like splendor, seeking solutions. So the Pentacles are like our physical 3D world. So this is the Sun in Virgo. Excuse me. So it's the Lord of Prudence. Okay, so learning a craft, maybe hard work. You're applying yourself with integrity to learn. There's only one master, and it's with the Sun in Virgo. So prudence means wisdom. So you've learned a lot through this. Okay, there's a lot that you've learned, maybe about yourself, maybe about, you know, what you're going through, but you were seeking a solution and you really learned how to, maybe you learned more about yourself through this process. Okay, then we have eight. So you guys could be seeing eights a lot. Or eight could be very significant. Also, you could be a life path 8, or you might have the person that maybe you lost, you know, it has something to do with number 8. Just take it as it resonates, but you could also be seeing 8s or 16. But this is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. So 8s are seeking solution. This is communication or maybe even travel. Okay, so this is Mercury, and Mercury is a planet of travel, but it's also a mental suit. So you could also, this could also be like a form of communication. If you can see, there's only wands here. So it's Mercury, and Sagittarius is the Lord of Swiftness. Like I said, it's coming in fast. So it's swift and fast. It's a force that's approaching. It's quick decisions. It could be logic, a journey, learning the school of hard knocks, think before you act, and fast communication. Okay. So there is your reading for this, I don't know, week, I guess you could say. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Love and light.